What's it, my people? You know what it is. Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you. Another one, and this one is True Detective, Episode 4 preview and theories, predictions, what's going to happen during this episode. That's what we're here to discuss. Again, this is a call-in live stream. You can call me in. The number is down there on the crawl, 518-290-0848, and express your opinions. I put out a couple of theories. I've seen people trying to challenge me in the comment section. That's fine. And you have every right to try to challenge me all you want. But I would hope that you call in and do your challenges live on the air. We're about that life. Now, don't expect too many people to be here joining us. But for the people who are here, let's just say thank you and welcome, people. Welcome. Let me say what up to a couple of people we have in here. We have Loth in the building rocking with us. Lou is up in here. XX City is in here. Julie is in here. Steph Snow is in here rocking with us. Easier said with Meg is in there. The Cakester is rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Love you, miss you also, Cakester. We have a bunch of people in here. Muhammad, my brother from another mother, is up in this place rocking with us right now and all that. So we're going to talk theories. That's what mostly this is going to be about. And again, I want you to call in, tell me your theories. But we go through mine. And any other ones that you ever heard of. And again, if you have any questions, you can highlight them, and then we'll talk about it. No problem. And if you don't, you know, and you just want to sit back and listen and soak it in, and you're very welcome to do that. Let's get through it. So what do we know so far in here? We know that this lady named Annie K was killed, right? Viciously killed, beaten, kicked, stabbed 60-something times, right? Body left. And that is why Navaro is on the case, because we've seen that she feels like she could have saved the one lady whose husband was whistling the same song that the chief's mother used to whisper, the father used to whisper to the chief. And she felt that she could just take refuge in the fact that if she could save Annie, it would have prevented this woman from being killed, but she wasn't able to save Annie. And that's was her driving force and motivation in there. What up, Steph Snow? What up, Edward Martin, rocking with us, channel member, Edward Martin. You know what I mean? Showing some love up in here. Steph Snow, what's up? We got another Tony in the building in here, rocking with us right now. What's up? What's up? Cool Gamer is in here rocking with us also. What's going on with you? Number 2055 is in the building, rocking with us right now. So we know that's what we know. Then we know these are the facts that we're laying out here right now, the ones that are undisputable, right? So then we can go into the theory that we know. Then we know that there was a bunch of scientists at this laboratory. One was dating Annie K, and something caused them to go out into the ice and die. Now it was said by was a veterinarian that it wasn't the cold that killed these men. These men did not die from the cold. So something else killed these men. What actually killed them? That's what we need to get to the bottom. How they all died. They can't do that until they can do a proper autopsy and everything else. We're going to try to talk about what exactly killed them, how they died, why their bodies was exactly stacked up. And I know a lot of people want to believe that this is connected to season 1. I think Matthew McConaughey is somehow involved in this show. All right. Now, again, we have new showrunners. It's not the same showrunners from season 1. If it was the exact same showrunner from season 1, then I would be with that 100%. But I do think they're taking things from season 1 and bringing it in here. But I don't think it's all directly correlated. Like it's all going. You have to watch season 1 to understand what's going on here. That's never really how any of these True Detective things are. So I can't see them doing that right now on this season. Especially to me, like this season for them is like a trial season. Like they have to really knock it out the park with this season, or I think the True Detective season series might be over when it's all said and done. You know what I mean? So that's what I feel about it. So they got, but I do believe there is, like, you know, they have the beer, and yes, we know that could do what is definitely his father. That's 100%, and I think we'll see some key moments like that. But I don't know if it's directly linked to exactly what's going on with these murders. Is what I'm saying, and how I'm saying it. You know what I mean? Again, so that's the facts. That's the facts. Now, what can we take? Number one, we could take that this guy, what's his name? The guy named the chief not the chiefs, the guy who was in charge before the new chief got in there. That guy. Funny because I can't think of his name right now, but it's funny because I was wondering where I seen that guy before, and I seen him. He was in that show with Kenny Powers. He was Kenny Powers' brother. That motherfucker. That's who he was. I knew I seen his ass. I was like, where did I see this dude from? He aged. I mean, Kenny Powers. That was a long time ago, right? But that's where he was at. He was on the show with Kenny Powers. He was Kenny Powers' brother. That's where I seen him from. All right. This dude is suspect. Number one, we have to look at the fact that he had the files inside of his house. We know that. Boom. Number two, it kind of looked like if you looked at that ice skate, that it could have had some blue dye on that ice skate. That's what it seemed like. I took the screenshot. I paused it. It seemed like there could have been blue dye up in there. We also, it may not be blue dye. Again, I know it looked like blue dye. And I know I'm not the only person who's saying that is blue dye, but we also have to remember that he did paint that room blue too. So could that be blue paint from the room? He's got that pen pal chick who likes blue, who he keeps sending money to, and he's getting catfished by. So it could be a situation like that it is the blue from that room. So we can't just say 100% that it's blue hair dye. We don't know that for sure. We know it's blue. Most likely with the room, it could be the room, but if they're trying to be sneaky, they make it the dye, right? He's definitely suspect. So I would say he's on the hit list. But in the end, what I'm seeing, and I understand that a lot of people don't want to see it this way. And I know a lot of people want to think it's something else. They showed you and I always know from TV shows, that it's the first episode. Usually when it's a murder mystery show or something like that, you get the killer within the first 1 to 2 episodes. Like they'll show the killer in the first episode. They'll show what's going on in the first episode. And in the first episode, they showed right by that TV set, they had a tape of the movie The Thing. Now, when we look at the movie The Thing, we can see the parallels. The Thing, if you've never seen it, was Kurt Douglas. Not Kurt Douglas. Kurt Russell's movie where he was in the snow, trapped out there with a bunch of scientists out there, and there's a thing out there that was taking control and looking like people, right? And you couldn't tell who actually was the thing. You didn't know who would infect it, right? That's what it was. I love that movie, especially when it got the dog. That dog and it came out, and then dog exploded and the legs came out of it and everything else. That was just disgusting. When I was a child and I seen that thing, that was disgusting. All right. I think we do have some similarities here with The Thing. So let's go through it real quick. Again, let's take a question here. You can call in. XX City says, what's up all? Crazy that Annie's tongue was found 6 years later is in, I guess he means in Tesla's lab. Tesla. We're going to call it Tesla from now on. Tesla's goddamn lab. Why was it there? Also, more importantly, why does it have marks from licking fishing nets when Annie was a midwife? Now, it could have the marks. She may have done some fishing just from the culture. You know what I mean? Because you got to look at Annie's motivation. Annie's motivation, from what we've seen, is that babies are dying. Their babies are dying. And they're blaming the mining people for the babies dying. That they're doing something mining that's fucking up the water, having all these premature and these fucked up births, right? That's what made Annie go out there and protest in the first place, right? So that's her thing. So before she did, you can't just there ain't babies being born every second of the day. You gotta make a living some other way somehow. So when the baby ain't being born, she probably out there licking net wire, right? And doing all that stuff. So that would be that. Now, we're going to talk about this tongue being found 6 years later. And this tongue was in immaculate condition, right? It wasn't like this tongue was fucked up. This tongue looked like it was stored. It was frozen somewhere. It was kept. It wasn't like a blackened tongue or anything decomposed. It was fresh tongue, right? Not that someone was using it. I ain't saying that, but I'm saying it was fresh. All right. So when we look at the last episode, we seen her inside of the catacombs, and then it seemed like there was something down there that scared her in the catacombs. Now, what that would lead you to believe, like what they're trying to make you think by showing you that, is that there's some creature down there. That she's down there, and there was some creature down there that scared her, and then the phone went off. That's what they want you to believe. All right? Is it possible that there is a creature down there? Of course, it's possible. But I don't think it's going to be, because it's too obvious for them to do that. It has to be a bait and switch going on situation. So it might be someone else down there, a regular person, maybe one of these scientists down there that actually scared her, right? And because it could be dark, it could be anything. You don't know what's down in that damn cave. You'd be scared of anything that jumps up out of you. You'd be scared if you're in your bedroom and something jump out, let alone some cave and stuff, right? So it could be a situation like that. Now, this is what I believe is going on here and everything else. Before I go, we'll go through a couple of questions that we hear. Like this, I've never seen Ferris Bueller. Anyone else? We're talking about Ferris Bueller. Yeah, I see that. I thought everyone see that show. I need a corpsicle to cool down. It's hot there. Listen, hey, to each his own. There is an obvious difference between hair dye and paint on the paper. Paint is thicker than hair dye. It is, but we can't tell the thickness from the TV show. I mean, I can't tell the density of the blue paint that was on the skate. I can't tell that. This was not intended to be a TV show. It was its own thing, and TV picked it up. I don't know if that's true, but I'll go with you on that. I can't wait for Russell and Cole to show up this season. I don't know if we're gonna get that. I was confused. Was the guy screaming in the pile of frozen bodies still alive in the hospital somewhere? Yeah, so they showed him, right? The guy that was alive that made it out, right? But the guy that they had to cut his arm off, his feet off, his legs off, and everything else. They showed that guy who did survive, but he died right at the end. They showed him, and then he just died, right? And everything else, saying the same thing about the girl being back. So I don't know how he could survive that. It's crazy to me. Brenda says, do you think Annie hooked up with Clark? Do you think with Clark, do try to find out what was wrong? I don't know if she did it to find out what was wrong with the water. Some reason she was in that ice cave. Now, we don't know what type of cave it was. Was it the scientist cave, or was it one of these mining caves, right? We got to figure that out. If it was, it's possible she did that, but she did keep it a secret for some reason. And we don't know exactly why she was keeping it secret, but they tried to make it look like Annie was the thought and she was fucking everybody. That's what they were trying to put out there, that she was out there and everything else. You know what I mean? Thank you for the super chat. Truly appreciate it. From Dan, do you think the tongue was stored in the research station is in one of the freezer samples? 100% I do. 100% I do. I want to get to that. 100% that they were storing that tongue. I'm going to tell you exactly what. What up to my homegirl AK-47 in the building rocking with us right now. What up? Viva says maybe the star-shaped holes in Annie K are arrows. Native people are using some. It is, but we're going to go into it. So my theory is this: Annie K got infected by whatever these organisms are that they're trying to trap, that they're looking for, these scientists, right? That's what happened. I think she got infected with this stuff. And I think that when she got infected, she turned into some type of creature, some type of something. I don't want to say zombie because she was still alive when she was infected, but it made him freak out. And when she freaked out, the scientists stabbed her ass up and kicked her. Why? Because they wanted to make sure she was dead because she was infected with this stuff. And then when they thought she was dead, they chopped her tongue off to use it to experiment, to get DNA out of the tongue, and they kept the tongue. But somehow, 6 years later, again, remember the organisms that they're experimenting on. The organism is supposed to lengthen, be the key to life. It can keep you alive longer and everything else. She just these whatever that stuff was, made her ass come back to life. And then she came back to life and killed those motherfuckers and forced them. They ran out because they were scared to death when they seen her back alive. That's what made them run out. And she killed them and stacked their bodies out there purposely. And that's how they got put into the corpse circle. That's what I believe happened. That's what I think is happening. I mean, if it's something else now, if the other police dude is involved, it will be a different situation. But I think that this is what we're getting here with them. In the end, that's what it's going to be. I don't believe that it's any witchcraft. I don't believe there's any voodoo. I think it's all this science and everything else. I think that is truly what it is. AK says, man, this show science is great, but just because you can do it doesn't mean you shouldn't. You goddamn right, AK. You know about it. What up to my brother Mandrell, another channel member up in the building, rocking with us right now and chilling and everything else. Maybe Phil the Issues guy will join. I mean, obviously, I've talked to Phil. I didn't talk to him, but I put the message out to him if he's free to jump on. So obviously, he doesn't need this to jump on and everything else, but he definitely come on. So that's why I think when you look at them and they're trying to make you think that it's racist that she was kicked so many times and stabbed so many times. They want you to believe like, oh, they did it because she's a native woman from out there and it was a racist attack. But it wasn't a racist attack. It was just those goddamn scientists going ape shit on her, trying to make sure her ass stayed dead. They was just stabbed. That's why they stabbed her ass so many times. And they couldn't just keep the body because they know Annie K is a known person, right? They can't keep the body there. They can't just have it disappear. So they're like, yo, we're going to take the tongue so we can run some tests. So at least we can get some good out of this motherfucker. And that's why they chopped the tongue out. So when the body was found, they seen her stabbed up and kicked. Obviously, the blame is never going to go towards the scientists because the scientists ain't done nothing. They're going to look into all the things she was into. And the first thing they're going to look to is say, well, she was protesting the mines. So they're going to say, oh, this is why she was killed. She was killed because she was protesting the mines and the mine people didn't like it. And that's why they killed her. And that is the cover story for the whole situation and everything else. You know what I mean? So to me, in the end, this is what it is. Look at that dude. And he came back to life who was frozen inside of that goddamn icicle. How do you survive that shit? That motherfucker might have had some shit in his ass too. You know what I mean? To make him survive that. And that's why he's screaming. Anyone who is doing these screams and everything else, they most likely have some of this stuff, these microorganisms in them, causing them to do this shit. You know what I mean? And that's it. XX City says, who is she? She's awake. She came for us on the ice. She is Annie K. That's who she is. That damn Annie K, who they thought they killed. That's it. That's who she is. It's her. She came back to kill these motherfuckers. Well, she came back right up there. Andrew says, what did they do with Annie's body, or did they grow her from her tongue? Well, the body was found by the cops, right? We know that the body was found, so it was placed back where it was supposed to be placed. They could have grew her from the tongue. The bottom line is Annie is back. That's all. That's what I'm telling you. This is Annie. Now, if it's a clone of Annie, it's a clone of Annie. You know what I mean? If it's that old body, it is. It's something. Guaranteed this is Annie. This is some type of zombie situation. Could be a clone zombie. Could be, but it's her. That's why the tongue was there. The tongue was left there purposely, right? And then the person put on the thing, you know what I mean? We're all dead already. You know what I mean? Could be what it really is. You know what I mean? If they didn't have this fungi inside of their body and everything else. I should have. What's going on? I don't have mods in here. What's going on in here? Hey, chat, Tony mods. Oh, Tony mods. I do have mods, right? Yeah, all right. So what's going on, Bea, and everything else? How you doing? Oh, you say hi to everybody and the mods too. All right. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? The issues guy is here. He's just backstage getting ready.
Yeah, I'm here. I mean, I think I'm here. Am I in here? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah,
Hi,
good,
hi
good.
everybody. I do think there are definitely a lot of signs of what you're saying with being science oriented, supernatural, which is, even though there are different showrunners, which is kind of true detective nature. Oh, I want to get to something that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about too much, but because it's a lesser mystery. But because in the last episode, we get that flashback of the last time that Liz and Navaro worked together, where they walk in and Jodie Foster's telling the story to the Mrs. Robinson kid, to the son, and what we visually see isn't what really happened. I'm convinced that both of them shot him right there. That was they didn't, whether Jodie Foster
You think they both shot him?
Oh yeah, I think they both killed him. When he's whistling Dixie right there, I think they both looked at each other and said, F this guy, and shot the shit out of that dude.
It seems like,
or killed him somehow.
They definitely killed him. So we could look at it both ways. If Navaro killed him, that gives Jodie Foster a reason to get rid of her.
Yes, and
right?
if
Jodie
Jodie Foster,
I'm not going to drop dime on you, but you got to get the fuck out of here.
Absolutely.
And if Jodie Foster killed him, then it really doesn't give her a reason to get rid of Navaro, or to hate Navaro because of it, because she's the one who did it, unless she just doesn't want her around. She doesn't want to look
right, because it reminds her of what she did, or the guilt of it having her around just kind of annoys her. And also that could just be a cover for Navaro leaving, being like, I want out of here. You can say you kicked me out. You can take the high road here, but I got to get that goddamn away from you. But to me, I think there seems to be something more nefarious going on between the two of them, that they colluded on both of them murdering this dude, because he's like whistling Dixie as they walk in, the song that
it just happened to be that song, right? It had to be that song. That's what makes you think that the chief did it, right? That she's the one, because the song is known to her. She would be the one, if he's whistling a song to her, it's taunting her somehow.
And I like how much music has been a part of this season too, with Jodie Foster's character hating the Beatles, that thrown in a few times, or that songs, and the songs clicking on certain different dynamics. This is where I'm learning from you. I've watched the 3 episodes, but I'm not dug in as much. I've watched every season of True Detective, even season 2. I really liked season 3 and season 1, and this is off to a great start too. As for the connecting thing, Tony's 100% right. Nick P, or Nick Palat, whatever the hell his name is not working on this season. So it is different showrunners. But there have been a couple of name drops, and the question is it fan service name drop stuff? I think Matthew McConaughey's father was mentioned at one point.
Yes,
McConaughey in season 1 mentions that he spent some time in Alaska, which also, Tony, some of this stuff gets overlooked because everyone gets bogged down in story and everything like that. Visually, Alaska is one of the most beautiful places to show, whether it's that Pacino, the Memento movie, or shooting in this location just looks amazing.
The Pacino Robin Williams movie, the totally underrated movie.
Yeah, I think it's called Insomnia.
Yeah, Insomnia. So
really
underrated, that movie. Just a great movie, especially in the spot that they shot it in. Just how, and now we're seeing the opposite here, right? Insomnia, the sun was always up. And now we're in a spot where the sun never rises. It's
such a great location for a season, and I think the location plays an amazing part. The visuals of everything they're grasping. Great point, Tony, about the clashing of the two. Memento gets overlooked in, I think, Christopher Nolan's filmography, but it is one of my favorite just because of the location. I even like Mystery Alaska. So I feel like... and this season also has a little bit of a Mayor of Easttown vibe to it as well. You can feel the influence of Mayor in this season too.
And let me say thank you so much to Jen Hack for becoming a member for Teflon TV.
Cheers.
Thank you so much. It's so appreciated. So appreciated.
And every time you get a member tonight, you got to do that dance.
I will do that. If that's what you call it.
Yeah. Whatever. It was a happy dance of sorts. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and they also mentioned that corporation from season 1. I can't remember the
Right,
name.
or the organization. And I believe in episode 2, people in the chat are smarter than I am, and you are as well, of course. But like, didn't they mention McConaughey's dad in episode 2 or something?
The guy who was in the ice is McConaughey's dad.
Okay, so that's McConaughey's dad. Okay,
that's his dad. That guy's his dad. That's his father. That guy right there who came up in the ice.
That's Travis Trickles. I know that's the guy from Days of Thunder.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying too. That cop, the guy who's playing the cop whose son's there, he's the guy from Eastbound and Bound. He's the brother, Kenny Powers' brother.
Yeah, he's hilarious, and he's the comedy stuff. Oh, you got another member.
We got another member by Momo. Thank you.
There we go.
Wakanda forever. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's most members I've gotten in the year. I'm so excited now. That is great. All right. So
you can also give away memberships right now too.
You can give away membership. People could give away memberships to people and everything. That's a great thing that they have too, and everything else. But yeah. So as anybody else look up the Intuit Goddess Cena stuff, someone told me to look that up. And everything. Someone did. I didn't look it up, but someone did put it in me. Was it you? Did you put that in my comment section, Jen? For me to look that up? Someone definitely told me to look in there and everything. Yeah, welcome to the family. We truly appreciate you. Truly appreciate it. We'll be doing live streams every week on this show. We got 4 more weeks, or it's only 8 episodes this season.
I think, is it 8 or is it 6?
Is it 6?
It might be 6, Tony.
It may be. You know, I know it's short. It
might be. I think
Jodie Foster's not coming for a long time anymore.
No,
like if you get her on something, she's coming for the short party, not the long.
And HBO doesn't have the bankroll it used to at this point, and they're not sort of just funding anything. So I do think I was just going to talk about some random Last of Us. Catherine O'Hara being announced for Last of Us season 2. So they're paying for star power. But I do think it's 6 episodes. I could be wrong about that.
Right, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's 6. Again, you can call in too. You have 2 numbers to call in. You can, if you want to call in and talk to us, we'd love to hear from your numbers. You can call 518-290-0848. Phil, what's the number?
781-990-8509.
Yep. I would suggest you call in Phil's number because he can hear you too.
Either way, you don't want to hear me. It's either way. Oh, thank you, Steph Snow. I appreciate that. We appreciate that
100%. So yeah, I do think that they're taking nods from season 1 because obviously it was the best season that they had. You had 2 actors who are top of their game. This all everything combined. McConaughey came off a great movie to this show. It all combined for him that year. That was his year, the year of Matthew McConaughey.
And Woody is barely ever not good in a movie. You pretty much you can't think of a role, and I think it's hilarious or not hilarious.
Well, the Carnage role was.
Oh, the Carnage. I mean, that was just a bad. That was just a bad movie. But I even kind of like him, and I like him eating scenery. It's amazing to me that he comes from Woody, though. I know you're a big fan and a historian of television like I am, but it's when you look at everything that Woody Harrelson's done. I mean, Matthew McConaughey gets his flowers all the time. I just, as a performer, Woody, what he came from, Wildcats and Cheers, and like his early stuff was all sort of comedy. Like
until Natural Born Killers is what changed the perception of him as an actor.
100% Natural Born Killers, and then People versus Larry Flint kind of followed that up with that performance and a couple of other big roles that really took him outside of that. And the combination of the two, even though the two of them have excellent chemistry, they might be related somewhere. There's a funny story. I recommend you looking it up where Woody Harrelson talks about they might be half brothers or something. But they're not kidding. They were in an awful movie called Ed TV, which is a Truman Show ripoff. But they decided to come together to do this season of True Detective, and both of them, who can play comedy really well, don't play it so straight, and it's just one of the universally considered one of the greatest seasons of television.
Yeah, I agree. No doubt about it. Definitely is. So going back onto this episode. So Phil, you watched all the seasons and everything else. And you think that this is it, or with the? I mean, it's hard to rank, right? We just started. We can't.
I would say right now I could say that season 1, it's going to be hard to beat that. I really like season 3. I think it's cast extremely well. The 2 leads are underrated in the whole theme of it. Season 2 is by far the worst. I think this is right on par with season 3 for me, and depending on how they close the deal, it has a chance. But season 3 had this whole Star Trek fans will know what I mean, had this whole all things must pass, like the finale of Star Trek Next Generation, multiple timelines going on thing, and a couple of really amazing acting performances. But Tony, I would say this is, people like to say back to form, but I think that's underrating season 3. So I think this is just more good. There's a couple nitpicks I might have here and there, but other than that, I think it's a great season.
Yeah, I think it's a really good. I know it's getting a lot of bad, Rotten Tomato stuff, but I think that's just the haters there and everything else. Mm-hmm. Well, I think the season's very well. Jen Hack's talking about the legend of Sedna is her, right? Sedna was a girl who was thrown overboard from a vessel while she tried to hang on. Her fingers were cut off at the joints. She sank to the bottom of the sea, the segments of her fingers turning into sea animals.
Tony,
and
they drowned her.
The sea woman and was in control of these animals. So
they drowned her and they stole her weed. That's how could they do that? They cut off her joints. Like, how dare they do that?
Jesus, these people nowadays and everything else. Right. And then we have little Darwin drew a picture of her, Victor style. Yes, he did. So I hear what you're saying, and I understand, and I think that could have its significance, but I think the significance is that the chick came back and was alive. More than I don't think that this chick's fingers is growing into. Now, that would be the movie The Thing, right? If you have to do something with The Thing would like that. The Thing, in the movie The Thing, did the guy's head grow legs or the dog's head?
That's with Kurt Russell, right? The Thing?
Yeah, with Kurt Russell.
Yeah, I think so. I believe.
Yeah, and he tried to run away. Yeah, so it would seem, but I think that the significance of that story is true, that this girl survived the massacre that they tried to put her in, and I think that's what happened here with Annie K. I think Annie K. somehow got infected with these chemicals, these microorganisms. They had to kill her.
Nano robot things.
God.
The question I want to ask you, Tony, about the supernatural or something weird going on here, I think historically what's been a tenet of True Detective would be that things can appear, in a sense, supernatural, but end up having some sort of explanation. The thing that is sticking to me coming off the last episode is the demonic voice thing coming off the dude in the hospital bed when he goes all exorcist. Tony, your second cousin's third uncle told me you had a hamburger for lunch. Come over here, Tony. It was weird. It
was, and it's hard for me to explain it. You know what I mean? It just, I just think of people talking in tongues like, I am Bazulu.
I Vigo, the scourge of Carpathia.
Yeah, like, I don't even know if he was in control of himself when he was saying that stuff.
But it was a very clear voice, or was that a perspective moment? Like we were hearing it from the way Navaro was interpreting it because it scared her, so it seemed more ominous than it was. But that was the moment where I'm like, oh, maybe there is something else going on here.
Yeah, they want you to believe. That's why we got another. Let's go. Devontae Robinson, DR, good looks. There you go. There we go. Let's go, baby. Appreciate it. DR, man, D-Rob. Good looks, D-Rob. I truly appreciate that. You know what I mean? But I think they are stressing it to you that it's supernatural in some sense that it can't be,
which makes me think it isn't.
Yeah,
because they're giving you it a big matzo ball on a spoon right now.
They're force feeding you it. They're like, oh, this is some exorcist. This is some type of Bazuzu situation going on here. But it's not going to be that. When it's going to be this damn organism is keeping people alive longer than they would actually be alive, because they got these whatever parasites that's in them and everything.
Could it be or some parasite or some that's why I mentioned the Last of Us, some Last of Us zombie mushroom thing going on here, that they accessed it, not that specifically, but something that keeps people in a zombie-like state of some sort.
I mean, they said that those chemicals, those things could extend life. That's why they were searching for them and stuff, and cure all types of diseases and stuff. That was the whole thing. So Tony, you got me into From Now This series shit. Thank you so much. It looks like I picked two good ones. The Changeling too. Should have watched that one too. The Changeling was a good series. You know, we had a good one going on there. Jenna Hack, did Navaro hallucinate or really see Lundy? That's, you don't know.
Yeah,
she
that's
could
a
have
good
been.
question.
She could have been hallucinating. I agree that it's quite possible. As Phil just said, that was that her perspective of what the man said. Did they really sound like that? We don't know. You know, and Navaro keeps hallucinating too, seeing, you know, the polar bear and other things like that. What up to my brother KP in the building and everything else? We having problems. What's going on? He's saying something's wrong with the telephone line?
No, he's just saying you got to post your live schedule in the community tab.
Oh, all right. I just jumped on. I'll definitely do that. I'll definitely. You're correct. We have to take more things. Be more courteous about that for other people. I'm sorry about that. I definitely will do that. Tim McNeil says, I think it's all in Navaro's head. I think it's a mental stuff going on in her family, except Navaro has a better hold than her sister. Now, I don't know if it's that far, but I do think it could be all these people have been drinking this water. I think this water could, depending on how much you drink it, could give you these hallucinations.
You think the water might have some psilocybin in it, or have?
Yeah, I think the water may have some of this stuff that may have leaked into the water stream, and that's why everyone's free. I think that's why the chick is seeing a husband. I think all this stuff could be like the first stage might be hallucinations. That could be the first stage of this thing. And babies, when it's in your body, it just makes them, you know, stillborn.
Speaking of the babies, just from an episode television standpoint, it was very cool. Not cool, I mean, it was horrifying, but the episode started with the baby screaming and ended with the dude screaming. It was like episode 3 started and began with screaming. It was episode 3 was my favorite of the episodes. The first 2 were good, but episode 3 felt more like True Detective, like the two detectives working together. And I hope for the remainder of the series, Jodie Foster and Navaro kind of stay together, because the actresses have good chemistry.
They do. Brock Savage says, be drinking that black water coming out, you're looking at God. Well, listen, it may not be black. Like, there could be stuff in there when the water is not black. When you see it black, and you know not to drink it. But right before it turned black, what if you got some of that? Or you taking a bath and you swallow a little bit of it. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't just be the straight black water that you're drinking. Yes, you would be looking to get something if you did drink that, but it could just be seeping in other things, ice cubes or anything else. You know, it could be in the creatures that live in the water that they're fishing from, and that they're over here getting them from. It could be in some of the fish. It could be in there. It could be infected in a lot of things that you eat. They specifically wanted to show you exactly. Fucking Oreos cost like $40 fucking dollars.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
$40 fucking dollars for some Oreo cookies. God damn it! Everyone deserves to be skinny in Alaska. There's no way you can be fat in Alaska if Oreos cost $40 fucking dollars.
And we're not talking. What are the double stuff, like 85?
Probably for them goddamn double stuff.
I'm gonna have to finally buy the Oreo Thins. You know, those Oreo Thins that no one buys. I'm gonna have to buy the goddamn Oreo Thins. I'm sure someone's gonna write me now. Phil, I buy the Oreo Thins. Fuck you.
I can't buy nothing. I'm on this fucking 18-hour fasting a day. Oh. So I don't be eating shit. I usually just eat like once a day now, in all honesty. Even though I have a bigger fasting window, but usually it's just like once a day. And that's it. You know that. So I don't even like to talk about Oreos.
It's a horrible memory. It's like talking about a past love.
Jen Hack's like drinking water. Yep, that's exactly what I'm drinking. Just drinking water.
I'm drinking water too. It does have vodka in it, but it's mainly water.
So all I'm drinking is this water, straight water. And that's it. And that's the way it goes. KP, his mom, this man is always on the diet. Shut up, KP. I want to be able to come on streams with my shirt off like you do all the time, right? That's what I'm trying to be like you, bro.
I want to be like KP. If I could be like KP.
I'm trying to be.
Gonna be like KP.
That's right. I look good, but I, got a little work. Just a little bit. That's all. All right. Glenn Carter says she killed everyone at the research station because of the $40 Oreos.
That's what this is all about. I think, Tony, you indirectly got to the bottom of the case. It's all about the $40 Oreos. Like, if you're living in a climate where Oreos are $40, there's some serious problems.
Listen, there is. God damn it. If Oreos cost that much, Pop-Tarts is what, $15?
Oh, no, I mean, seriously. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. If we get into the cereals now, it's
Cinnamon
dangerous.
Toast Crunch, $15, $20, and everything else.
That being said, I pay like something like $8 for total in San Francisco, in Petaluma, California, Northern California. So there is that. Cereal is around $8 if you're not getting it on sale.
If you buy the protein cereal, it's fucking real. It's Magic Spoon. Fuck you, Magic Spoon. I ain't paying for that. But all right, let's go back to the show and try to break down. I'm the only one who put a theory out. I haven't heard anyone else in the chat ain't got a theory or anything like that. Let's see. Miss Mike Jones says, if the researchers killed Al and Annie, why did they put a dead body in the storage unit where it could be found? I think I explained my philosophy a little bit ago. I'll go again on it. I think that they knew that she was an important person in the community. That you couldn't just offer and then not anyone's going to know. You know what I mean? And they didn't want anything to lead back to them at all. So I think they put the body in there and they cut the tongue out and kept the tongue purposely just so they could run some tests on the tongue.
And I also think Tony's probably correct about that, but it also could be to send a message. Every time with the tongue, send a message. You want a tongue? I'll get you a tongue. I'll get you a tongue on Tuesday. But I don't know if it's connected or it should be connected to what happens at the beginning of episode 3, where we see what Annie was up to beforehand, delivering the births, somehow fighting against whatever's happening with the irregularities with the childbirths. And so perhaps somebody wanted to stop what Annie was doing, doing the midwife type stuff, and send a message about it.
Well, they'll also cast blame on the mines or make people look at the miners, right? It's not going to look at the scientists. They're going to say, oh, she was over here protesting. Yeah. That's why they cut her tongue out, because they wanted her to shut the fuck up.
Right. There could be, and I guess I'm just throwing out, I tend to think what your description was probably correct, but thinking of some other possibilities in this scenario as well. And they did make it a point to see how Navaro knew what she was up to and what she was up to before the murder as well. So that may play into a part of why what happened to her.
Stephanie wants to know, did this feel like a Jodie Foster appropriate role? She did put Jodie Foster, but we're gonna let that slide and just say
that's her Silence of the Lambs Hams co-star's name. That's her.
Yeah, do you think this feels like I think it's a good role for her. I think at her age right now, and what you do at Naiad, she just did the Naiad thing, and I think that these are the roles she's looking for. I think she's not looking for roles to win awards. I think I think that what she wants to, I don't know her personally, but it seems like she's happy helping other women come about. And there's a woman director, writer on this, and this woman actress that's rocking with her. I think she's like at that point where she wants to put women first and do what she can to help other women. And if you look at the roles she's playing, the Naiad one, where she was the best friend of the lady who did the swimming thing on Netflix, it's always some strong women role that she's trying to push women out there. I think that's where she's at right now.
Yeah, and she's been in this game for a long time, so part of it is her just wanting to do good work and fun times and do a lot of great stuff. She's having a lot of great one-liners in the promotion of this right now, and she's having a lot of fun.
Yeah, she's never an asshole. She never got to be an asshole in any of the movies.
No, and she's playing a good grumpy asshole, and I think this role definitely fits her well. It's good to see her back in that detective role. Obviously, everybody. She wasn't Taxi Driver. She wasn't a lot of things beforehand, Freaky Fridays, that kind of stuff. But the breakout role that most people would say that they first recognized or saw her from, just like Marissa Tomei was in things before My Cousin Vinny, Jodie Foster hit the scene for a lot of people in Silence of the Lambs.
Marissa Tomei was in a different world.
Different world, yeah. She was in a lot. But that's when I first saw Marissa Tomei. She was in the first couple of seasons, right? And then she disappeared.
Yep. She was in there. She was in there for a while. Andrew said she was having the dreams about the spiral shapes. Tony and Phil, your thought. All right, so who was having the dreams about the spiral shapes? Who are we talking about here? Now, from what we know, Annie K had the tattoo of the spiral shape. Now, the question would be, why did she get that tattoo? They said that she's seen it in like a book or something, right? That's why she did it.
Yep.
And then this guy, after she got killed, that's why he started doing crazy shit with the spiral and putting it all over. I think this out of guilt is why he started to do it. What do you think? It is the same spiral from season 1, yes, no doubt about it. I'm not saying that it's not, but what did you think about the spiral?
Yeah, something that could be one of those things that is connected into season 1, into a cult stuff. It screams cult to me in some ways.
Yeah, Navaro and Annie K had spiral dreams.
Yeah, and I also like Jodie Foster in the Fist Chronicles. That was her best part. She really spread her acting chops.
You got to in that type of role. Says some say ancient spirals ancient portals to the spirit world.
Oh my god.
I have to see if it really means something, because again, this is the same thing that this guy was hallucinating about in season 1. We don't know, is it just is it just something to connect it to that she got this same tattoo? Because I can show you people who's got the same tattoo. Like you go to a tattoo shop and you have the same type of design.
Right, they have the ones that are just on the wall. Like is that just number A7 at Mama's tattoo shop in downtown Alaska?
Something like that with that spiral.
What's the name of this town again? It's got some ridiculous name. But what's the name of the town?
I don't know.
Oh, dude, let me find it in a second. It's hilarious. Give me 1 second. Enos. Yeah, it rhymes with penis. Enos. I keep saying in my head the town's called Penis.
Enos, Alaska, and everything. Enos, Alaska. Yeah, again, it's a fake town in Alaska with fake shit going on here. You know what I mean? So I just don't know if the spiral is that important. Like, what do you think that spiral is going to mean? Is that going to be a symbol for what? I don't think we're dealing with something in a different dimension. I don't think we're dealing with anything like that. To me, it's just the spiral. They're bringing it back from season 1, and just to bring it again. Listen, if y'all watch Westworld,
yeah, it reminds me a lot of the Westworld thing.
Yeah, they gave you this whole maze shit. And I remember you made up every fucking theory about this goddamn maze. Remember that, Phil?
Yeah, and it ended up being one of those stupid pinball things that, you're with the ball that you...
It meant nothing.
Nothing. But in fairness, Tony, nothing meant nothing in Westworld.
It meant nothing.
Westworld was a big fat nothing. I mean, entertaining at times, Ed Harris and was good at it, but ultimately a big fat nothing. Annie was having dreams of the spiral and they stopped when she got the tattoo. That's a couple things. That's what I wanted to mention. Thank you for mentioning that number. Didn't someone said that twice? That got said twice at different points in times. Someone was having weird dreams and they stopped when they got the tattoo.
They stopped when they got the tattoo?
I think so. I think that's what. Let me put numbers. Put it on the screen. Andy was having the dream.
Coming on screen too.
Yeah, I'm pause.
Damn. Yeah, pause for that. Sorry.
Numbers is coming all over the screen. Numbers. You can have a good time watching us. I'm not gonna kink shame you like Tony just did. It's okay, Numbers. Do what you do.
It's all this fisting talk and all this shit. That's what's going on here.
It is. It is. I blame KP. So let's continue. But do I mean, that I think is just coincidental type situation, but I believe that was said a couple of times that people were having dreams, and that, or at least once, about Annie, and then she got the tattoo and the dream stopped.
It's hard. I think hallucinations could be the first stage of this microorganism in your body. You get
taking over, yeah.
You get hallucinations in you. And that's what it builds up to. And that would explain everyone else getting it. If they're getting it from the water or from the fish or wherever it's coming from, that would explain all that you get all hallucinations and stuff from getting it, it could be microdoses. You could think of it as acid, a little bit of acid being put in the water, a little bit at a time, you're not going to get tripping, but all of a sudden, after you got enough in your system, shit might just be trippy to you.
It will definitely cure your headaches too, microdosing. But yeah, exactly, Tony. Like that's a slow sort of dosing that just kind of alters your perspective a little bit and creates a little bit of the scarecrow toxin from Batman, a little bit, so everything seems a little. Again, if we're going on science fiction rather than hocus pocus, there's a lot of places you could kind of go with it. I want to go back to what Andrew was saying just before we get off the symbol. It says the spiral is a symbol of the cycle of life and death, representing the continuity of existence and the never-ending cycle of growth and decay. The spiral is the symbol of the journey of the soul and the web. So again, it could just have symbolism to. I tend to think that maybe it's a sign that symbolizes a bunch of people that agree with a certain philosophy. Usually when tattoos are used in shows, movies are used in action movies, like, we all have the same tattoo, we're part of the same crew, we're part of the same this. So I do think any associations with the tattoos has something to do with like-minded individuals that got that in a cult-like fashion. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, it could be a situation like that. I mean, I think that mostly, them showing it, the guys, I think he just missed her.
Yes.
And that's why he did everything with the symbol. The symbol just represents her.
Like an homage to her or something.
So he was just doing all that stuff and everything else, and all that, and putting it on the trailer and putting it on his chest and all that craziness that he did with it and everything else. I think it was just, that was representing her, like a fan of the NFL team, and just getting a tattoo of that team. I think that's why I don't see it being anything more than that. I know they want to make you think it's something and it's spooky and everything else and all that, but I think it's more just a homage, showing respect to season 1 also and everything else.
I'd be afraid that I'd stab it out when my sports team lost, like big game, I'd cut that tattoo off.
Yeah, I would. Please, I'd make no sense. I'd have no body left. I'm a Jets fan.
You look like Charlize Theron in The Devil's Advocate with all the cuts.
He
did this to me.
I have no skids left.
The Jets did this to me. Hey, I'm a Raider fan. It's not much better, Tony. It's not much better.
Hey, it is. We'll see. We got next year. We'll see. I look forward to next year, but not yet. I don't want to get back there. I want to get through the winter. I'm excited for the ultimate playoff matchup of the Knicks and the Celtics this year. Oh, wait till that happens. Right?
I hope that's Eastern Conference Finals, my friend. Anyways,
it should be. It should be.
We can hope. We can hope.
It should be. Right now, I have $500 that the Knicks win it all.
I would say they're my second favorite team in the Eastern Conference to win. Obviously, I think
the Eastern Conference wins regardless. I ain't worried about the West. It's just getting through the East. And that's it. If you get through the East, you're going to beat any team in the West. We already smacked every team in the West already. So I'm not even worried about it. Just got to get through the Celtics. Basically,
I won a little money on the Packers beating the Cowboys because I was sure that the Cowboys would blow it. I was in Vegas at the time of that game, and I put some money on the Cowboys to blow it. I did not bet on the Packers. I bet on the Cowboys to blow it the game, and I won a little bit. That was a successful bet. Anyways, to get back to this, the researchers were dead before they froze. What did Zombie Andy do to move their bodies onto the ice? It seemed like what Tony was saying before we started and what the vet was implying was maybe they were scared and they ran off, and that's just where they ended up altogether or something. But I don't know if she moved their body.
They were clawing at each other. So we know that it says that they clawed the eyes out. I don't know how they can say that they clawed their own eyes out because they didn't check underneath their fingernails and find DNA underneath there to know it. All we know, I think they were saying all that they did this and that stuff to themselves because they thought that they died by themselves on the ice. But if you put Annie in there and everything else, Annie's the one who clawed the eyes out. Annie's the one who did that, stacked the bodies up and everything else. That's what I believe definitely happened to these people. It
doesn't happen often, Steph Snow, unless I'm playing poker. But I was,
but how she killed them is still up. It's up to the debate. We don't know how they died yet, right? Their body has to be thawed out in order for them to do an autopsy to find out exactly what killed these people. We have no idea. We can't see the back of them, so we don't know if they were shot, stabbed. We can't see any marks on them. We just know that they were dead. And then the whole show premise was they died in the ice. You know what I mean? But we know that's not the case now. So what happened?
Now, Tony, have we met our killer yet?
Yeah. Remember, when it comes down to these type shows,
you were talking about that earlier.
Season 1, it's either episode 1, episode 2. They always show the answer. You always get the answer right in the beginning. Look at The Sixth Sense. You got the answer right in the beginning of the movie.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, shoved it right in your face.
The guy in Saw, you had the answer in the beginning of the movie. The guy was laying right there the whole time, right? I mean, the kid goes to Bruce Wilson and says, "I see dead people." Right off the bat, he tells him that, you have the answer to the whole thing. They always give you the answer right away. They always do. It's always there right away. So it's obvious, I think, to me, the answer, the killing, everything, it's already been, unless it's that somehow that cop has something to do with it, but I don't think so. I think he's too stupid to have it.
The dad cop?
Yeah, the dad cop.
Yeah, I think he's just dumb.
Yeah, I think he's just over there just getting.
I didn't think you guys could get it done. Like at the end, I gained respect for you guys. Comic stupidity. I gotta admit, I sleptwalked a little bit through the first 2 episodes, then I went back and watched it, but episode 3 kind of really grabbed me. And when he made the Mrs. Robinson comment to Jodie Foster, I'm like, did I miss something in the first 2 episodes? Because they had her having, going around. Did she have sex with the son? And no, she didn't.
No, she didn't have sex with the son. She's fucking everyone else, Jodie Foster's character.
Right, but I sort of focused on episode 3 before I watched the other 2, so I kept expecting that to happen in my memory, going back and watching them.
Let's go through this one. It says, what if Eveline, how do you say his name?
Eveline.
Why can't I say the name? And I should know it simply to say it, but I can't. With dyscognitive identity disorders caused all the death. Her mental distress and visions might mean she killed her mother unknowingly too. The other person thinks she is Sedna. I could, if you want to say that, saying she's got some type of split personality, and the split personality is doing the killing, and she doesn't realize she's doing it because of that.
I'm sorry, I'm still trying to figure out how to. Thank you, AK. Evangeline.
Evangeline. No, it's not. Is it? Jolene?
I trust AK is not trolling us.
All right, Evangeline. Yes, all right. Evangeline. All right. I can't say that that's not good. It's definitely good, but I don't think we've seen enough. I mean, we did hear about stuff in episode 2. I think it's more than that. I think that's good. It could be that, you know what I mean, without a doubt. But I can't say that's wrong. I can't. There's no way I can't say that there could be a split personality situation like that. Steph Stone wants to know, is episode 3 wake her up?
I mean, I would say if you're not feeling the tone of episodes 1 and 2, episode 3 is more of the same. It's just a little bit more directed on trying to figure out the plot. So if episodes 1 and 2 weren't your brand of chowder, I'm not sure if episode 3 is going to win you over.
Yeah, I like the show. I'm not. To me, it's a good show.
Me too. But I guess I'm just saying if
it's not as good as Mayor of Easttown.
No, Mayor of Easttown would have been a better season 4 of True Detectives.
Yeah, it's not Mayor of Easttown. So no, is it alien story? It could be aliens of microorganisms that are alien by nature. Yes, could be Steph Snow.
Nano alien robots. But no, I like it too. Like I said, I would rank it on par with season 3, and I very much enjoyed season 3.
Yeah. I think it's good. I mean, especially for, you have an actress in there who probably, was this a second role that she's been in. She's really a boxer and everything else. She's doing a good job. You could tell she's, not on the level yet, but you could see that she has some ability here.
Yeah, she's having fun and pulling it off and going up against a Hollywood legend and holding her own.
Yeah, she's. I wouldn't say she's holding her own. I mean, I'm being nice. I think she's doing a really good job. I mean, as good as you can be next to Jodie Foster. I mean, next to Jodie Foster. I mean, Denzel would have a hard time. Probably not Denzel. No, but she belongs at that table. Yeah, she's that type.
She's sitting at that table with the Denzels, the Edward Nortons,
Streets,
the
Denzels, the
De Niro's, the Pacinos, the other ones with the O's.
I don't even know if I would put Pacino and De Niro on the table with Denzel. I don't know if they deserve to be there. I really don't. De Niro, I don't know if he's Pacino, maybe. But Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yep. Gary Oldman.
Sean Penn.
Mm-hmm.
These are the guys who are at that table.
Marlon Brando's eating all the food at the table and then walking out.
Of course.
But he's walking. He's eating all the food. Everyone's going Brando, and then he's
Marlon Brando. You can't have a table without Brando. Of course, he deserves to be there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of great. Gene Hackman. God bless his soul. He passed away. No, Gene Hackman's still alive. He's still alive. Gene Hackman ain't died. But this is enough. We could have a whole thing about the best actors of all time.
And we should. That's definitely a future podcast that we should do on one of our channels.
Yeah, we should definitely talk about all the greats. Rank them, top actors of all time.
Or we'll do a tier list. Like
we can do a tier list. We can do a tier list of all the great.
That way we can give even and figure it out, and then settle it if we can't agree on one in some ways.
Yeah, but definitely 100%. Jodie Foster is up there with these people. She's that good of an actress. I mean, she's there. That's just the bottom line. I mean, look, Contact. I think she blew it up in Contact. I could watch Contact right now.
Yeah, that's a great.
That she did so good in that and everything
else. Jackie C, it's good to be back. I might be on tomorrow night talking about the first episode of the final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Comedies are hard to recap, but since it's the final season, I might come out after the premiere and then the finale.
You get a lot of flack for fucking grabbing Elmo up, boy.
Yeah. Fuck Elmo. I'm a Sesame Street. I'm a Grover Bert and Ernie, Big Bird era Sesame Street fan. So fuck Elmo. He came there and he took over the whole goddamn show. I'm with Larry David on this one. Elmo takes care is destroying all of Sesame Street because it's too much Elmo. I miss the Big Bird Snuffleupagus and the Grover monster at the end of my book type stuff. I know I'm sounding like an asshole, but I don't care. Poor Elmo. Elmo picked that fight with Larry David.
Larry David's about to get canceled for grabbing up. And yes, before we go, we're going to talk about this. Then we're going to go after this. We're going to say rip to Carl Weathers.
Oh, amazing.
All right. Give me some thoughts on Carl Weathers' film before we have it.
I mean, he is iconic for so many different roles. Obviously, Apollo Creed was the first thing I saw him in. Ultimately created a character that I think is as iconic as who he was sort of emulating with Muhammad Ali as this, charismatic boxer. And then he just showed up, in so many incredible different action roles and movies. And then he had a second career, just in a comedic sense too, showing up in bit comedy roles around the way too. Just one of the greats, one of the iconic presences in action movies in an era, and then in comedy stuff later on. I love Carl Weathers. I've always been a huge fan of the Rocky movies, and he's a big part. I feel like they killed him off too soon. Ivan should have put him in a wheelchair instead of killed him, and then I would have liked to see him alive during the Creed era, just to kind of be in a part of those movies a little bit more and stuff. But I do. He had an amazing career, and rest in peace, Carl Weathers.
Yeah, he's a great athlete. He was played for the Raiders, got them to the AFC title game while he was there under his watch. Left that, became an actor. Not many people leave football and become successful actors. Got the job with Rocky because he told Rocky that he sucked.
Yep.
And said he wasn't on the level as him. And if you really look at the acting, he's not on the level as Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers is a much better actor than him. He's in much better shape than he is. I mean, one of the best physiques that you'll ever see or in the movies, period, point blank. Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't even look big next to him. He was bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Predator. Apollo Creed could be the greatest secondary character ever made in a sports show. Ever.
And you could argue, Tony, in some part of that second movie that he was just as much of a main character. Him dealing with that non-loss and all of that and his dynamic and his relationship, he kind of won over that movie. And Sly was so jealous of that physique that he turned himself into Carl Weathers' body before Rocky III with the magic of human growth hormone.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, So everything he went to Action Jackson with Vanity, you know what I mean? Predator. Everything he played in, he's a Predator. He was in, he's in so many things. He's gonna be missed. You know what I mean? He's just just seen him in The Mandalorian, right? He was just in that recently and stuff and he's gonna direct the episode or something like that.
Arrested Development, I believe, is the comedy that I keep referring to in my mind. I don't want to say it because I don't want to be
Happy Gilmore, right?
Happy Gilmore, yep, as the swing doctor.
So he'll always be known as a Creed, be known as Apollo Creed and everything else. And rest in peace, Carl Weathers, 100%.
And he could have taken down Dolph and
Yeah.
We just didn't have the eye of the tiger. That's the problem.
He came out of retirement. He wasn't fighting.
He didn't train for that. He
throwing the towel. Why you let him take that much of a beating, Rocky?
Yeah. Rocky should have. I blame that one on Rocky.
He should have been throwing the towel in there. I don't care what he told you. Don't.
And his attitude killed Mickey
in
Part 3 too, because he was so pissed with Mr. Whatever. Yeah, Chubbs was and that's what I mean. Like, he killed it as an action star, and then he had that second career in Happy Gilmore, and I believe it was Arrested Development, playing like an acting teacher, taking advantage of people. And he's just he's a hilarious guy and great timing. And rest in peace, we were lucky to have you entertaining us.
No doubt about it. All right, people, we're going to get up out of here. Try to keep these to an hour, a little bit over. We'll be back next week, maybe midweek. After you want to do something like after a Wednesday, I don't know if you feel free, this right after reaction after the show. We could probably work something out. Maybe Phil is around for and do these twice a week if we can and everything else. But thank everyone for coming here. Thank especially the people who just became members. Thank you very much. Phil will be back tomorrow. Go check him out. Phil Issues Guy channel. Make sure you subscribe to it. Do a rest of the we said curb your enthusiasm.
Final season.
Finals. I know it's still on the air.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that it's been on the air for this long, actually.
I know it's still on. And he stole Bernie Sanders' whole act and just got famous off it. I don't care what he says.
yeah, that measly Seinfeld thing. That whatever. People only know him because of the Bernie Sanders thing.
He stole Bernie Sanders' whole personality and just ran away with it.
He doesn't even do an impression. He just comes out there and he's himself.
He just took it. That's it. All right, if you like the way to do this, please thumbs up to spread this across the realm. Of course, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.